There is still lots more to come here on Power and Politics. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says a Canadian citizen has died in Iran at the hand of the Iranian authorities. Just ahead, reaction from the Iranian Canadian Congress. And the White House says European troops arriving in Greenland doesn't change its goal to acquire the territory. Coming up, a former Canadian ambassador to NATO and how this is testing the military alliance. Plus, Canada re-engages with the country it once called a global disruptive power. Our reporter roundtable is here to talk about the Prime Minister's trade trip to China. Turning to Iran now, where weeks of nationwide protests against the regime appear to be dwindling. The Associated Press is reporting that witnesses in Tehran said recent mornings showed no new signs of overnight fires or debris in the streets. The sound of gunfire, which had been intense for several nights, has also faded. Iranian state media has announced a wave of arrests targeting those it calls terrorists. Activists say at least 2,600 people have been killed in this bloody crackdown, though other reports suggest it could be much higher. The protests began late last month over Iran's faltering economy and the collapse of its currency. Meanwhile, news that a Canadian has died in Iran. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand said in a statement, "I have just learned that a Canadian citizen has died in Iran at the hands of the Iranian authorities. Our consular officials are in contact with the victim's family in Canada, and my deepest condolences are with them at this time." Peaceful protests by the Iranian people, asking that their voices be heard in the face of the Iranian regime's repression and ongoing human rights violations, has led the regime to flagrantly disregard human life. The violence must end. Canada condemns and calls for an immediate end to the Iranian regime's violence. Mona Ghassemi is the president of the Iranian Canadian Congress, and she joins me now. Mona, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me, David.
What's your reaction to the news of the death of a Canadian, one amongst many, but from this country? What are your thoughts there?
Well, of course, my heart goes out to his family. Sorry, I think that it was not mentioned the gender of the individual, but my heart goes out to the family as well as, of course, to anyone who has lost anyone either in the last several days or at any point. The Iranians within the country and in the diaspora have been going through a difficult time through several years, and especially also during the 12-day war that happened in June 2025. And of course, you know, there's all kinds of turmoil, but I want to emphasize that Iran doesn't exist within a vacuum, and these currency issues are also affected by the long-term severe sanctions that are led by the U.S. and placed on the country. So it's a quite perfect storm of various issues. And I hope the best for everyone, and I hope that we come out of this standing stronger as a society, both for Iranians in Iran and the diaspora.
What is your sense of what is happening in Iran right now? We've seen the reports that things may be petering out as the harshness of the crackdown and the response from the regime escalated, but it's difficult to truly know because of the internet blackouts and the lack of sort of media access. Have you got any sense through your contacts of where things are right now?
Yes. Of course, yes, the internet has been shut down, and this in response to the escalation of the protests into riots. The protests began around, I understand it to be around the 28th of December as a legitimate peaceful protests against issues with currency and various issues stemming from the long-term economic difficulties. And later on, they escalated into something more than that, and this is my understanding that's when the internet shutdown happened, and security forces intervened, and we know that these, as Haaretz has reported, as if we were to trust Mike Pompeo's bluster about that, Mossad is also involved in influence operations in Iran. So although, of course, Iranians have legitimate grievances, there is ample reporting. We understand that, as we saw the escalation of war back in June, there is an interest for foreign governments such as Israel and the United States who want the current Iranian government to come out of power. And I want to emphasize that they have no interest for the Iranian people, and they are only interested in their personal gain, personal interest in the region. And I think it's a very scary time indeed that we're living in, because if these if there wasn't this bluster from Israel and various officials trying to intervene in the legitimate protests of that people have in their country, they are further endangering people and furthering the possibility of crackdown on people who, many people may be young and, hearing these influence operations on the internet and may have some feeling that that they may, get some kind of revolution or something. But
well, I wanted to ask you specifically, if I could, Mona, about what the president has said, right? He's encouraged the protests and issued non-specific sort of warnings and threats against the regime should the crackdowns escalate. And the International Criminal Court has issued a statement, implore that the people's legitimate demands must not be used as a pretext for abuse and foreign interference. But the words from the White House, we've seen the horrific images of the body bags, just showing the scale of the loss there. What is your sense of what the U.S. is prepared to do there, if anything? Because the president seems to be encouraging people and offering non-specific support, and people continue to be killed.
When you say the president, are you referring to the
President Trump?
Of the U.S.?
President Trump, yes.
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
So it's not clear ever what Donald Trump is thinking, but as he will say one thing and maybe do another. So I think that people need to be very careful following these non-specific support. I understand that people have grievances, and of course, I believe in human rights, democracy, all these things, but I don't think that that's going to come from a foreign government intervening in the affairs of Iran. As president of ICC, as a former vice president, I had the benefit of participating in the Foreign Interference Commission of Canada, and we don't believe in foreign interference one way or another in one country or another. So I don't think Donald Trump is to be trusted at all. He actually, Iran was in negotiations with the US regarding nuclear issues when the Israel attacked, and followed by the attacks by the US back in June. And we have seen what has happened to Syria. It's kind of in a shambles now. They promised, there's this, what we're really afraid of is like this manufacturing of consent that for further attacks, further war actions. And the last thing we want is for people to be killed. And of course, like, one death is too many, but it could become even worse, because under war circumstances, and especially if there were a power vacuum afterwards, I don't think it would be better for the people of Iran. Right. I really hope that people are able to achieve their demands through peaceful means, through organized protest, strategic, targeting appropriate targets. And unfortunately, we have seen some rather, I don't think that most of what we have seen in those protests has been that, especially towards the end. We have seen weapons coming in that U.S. weapons, allegedly, that Channel 14, Israeli Channel 14 has mentioned, and kind of saying, "Oh, we leave you to the audience to speculate where those are coming from." So there have been quite violence. We have seen from protest rioters, as a matter of fact. So.
Okay, Mona, we're out of time. I want to thank you for joining me today. That's Mona Ghassemi, the president of the Iranian Canadian Congress. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you. All right, still ahead, President Donald Trump is threatening to use the Insurrection Act to end protests in Minneapolis. But would U.S. law allow it in this case? We're going to talk about that next.